Alright then, let's dive into it, because Saturday at Celtic Park was exactly what every supporter wanted to see after the international break. A calm, composed and commanding 3-0 win over Hearts, a team that came into the game in form, having won 8 of their last 10 matches. But on the pitch, Celtic made them look anything but dangerous. It was one of those afternoons where once the first goal went in, you could sense the game was already slipping away from the visitors, and that's exactly how it played out. Now let's not sugarcoat it. The first 10 minutes weren't exactly smooth sailing. In fact, it almost felt like a continuation of that sluggish, frustrating Derby performance a couple weeks back. The passing was a bit slow, the tempo wasn't quite there, and you could feel the nerves maybe from the players or even in the stands. Hearts pressed high, looked confident, and forced a couple of early errors that could have been costly. But what? Changed everything. A bit of brilliance, that's what. Callum McGregor stepped up with the kind of moment that separates top players from the rest. He broke through the lines with one swift move, drove into the space and slipped a perfect pass into Daizen Maeda's path. Now, if this was last season, fans might have held their breath. But not anymore. Maeda's confidence is through the roof at the moment. You just knew he was going to finish it, and he did. Calm, clinical bottom corner. 1-0 Celtic, and the mood changed completely. Hearts looked stunned. Their energy dropped. And from that moment on, it felt like the result was inevitable. What was impressive wasn't just the finish, though. It was the way Celtic began to control the game after that. The midfield found rhythm, the defense stopped overplaying things at the back, and suddenly every forward movement looked dangerous. It wasn't champagne football for 90 minutes, but it didn't need to be. The efficiency, the control, the execution, that's what stood out. And let's talk about Nicholas Kuhn for a second. He didn't start the game all that well. First few touches were heavy, and he seemed a bit out of sync, but once he settled, he really got into it. He created the second goal with a lovely ball over the top to Maeda, whose header came back off the post, and there was Jota to slam it in. All 3 frontmen involved in that one, Kuhn, Maeda, Jota, and that's exactly what fans want to see. Then for the third, it was Kuhn again showing his quality. He drove forward, picked the perfect moment to play Maeda in, and boom, 3-0. Game over by halftime. The second half, a bit flat to be honest. But that was more about game management than anything else. Celtic didn't need to force it. They kept possession, saw the game out, and ensured there was no drama. The defense wasn't really tested, and Joe Hart, who's been through some scrutiny lately, had a quiet afternoon. Clean sheet job done. One player who deserves a shout out is Jeff Schlupp. After a shaky outing a couple weeks ago, he looked a lot more composed this time. Strong in his challenges, positionally sound, and just gave off that calm presence at the back. Brendan Rodgers actually spoke about him post-match, hinting that the club will assess his situation towards the end of the season. And you know what? That might be the smart move. Keep him motivated, playing for a spot next season. And if he keeps performing like this, he'll give the manager something to think about. In midfield, McGregor was immense. No surprises there. But it was good to see Reo Hatate getting back to his best as well. His passing, his movement, the way he links play. You could see glimpses of the Hatate from earlier in the season. And if he stays fit and consistent, he'll be massive in the running. Also great to see Paulo Bernardo and James Forrest back on the pitch. 2 players who could be vital from the bench as the games stack up. Now, when we talk about Daizen Maeda, it's impossible not to be impressed. He's sitting on 30 goals for the season. 30, and the way things are going, 40 isn't out of the question. There are 7 league games left, plus at least 1 more in the Scottish Cup, maybe 2, so potentially 9 more fixtures. Can he get 10 more goals with his form? Absolutely. The man's been on fire since the start of the year. 17 goals in 17 appearances for Celtic in 2025 so far, and that's not even all from starts. He's averaging a goal a game. Elite numbers. What's striking about Maeda right now is how much more composed he looks in front of goal. A year ago, you'd see him one-on-one with the keeper and think he might miss this or at best scuff it in awkwardly, but now he's cool. He picks his spot. He finishes like a natural striker. It's a transformation, which brings us to Brendan Rodgers' comments. When asked if Maeda is now considered a striker going forward, Brendan said something interesting. He didn't give a definitive yes, but he did say that it might be easier to find a top winger than a top striker, and that Maeda clearly has the ability to play through the middle. That says a lot. And honestly, it's hard to argue. Maeda has been more consistent, more dangerous, and more clinical than Kyogo this season. That's no slight on Kyogo, he's still contributed massively, but Maeda just looks the part right now. So if Rodgers is thinking of keeping him central and going after a top-class winger in the summer instead, that might be the right move. Use what you've got, especially when what you've got is banging in goals for fun. Another big bit of news from the weekend is about Greg Taylor. Brendan seemed to confirm that the left back is likely to leave in the summer. Said it's not about money or anything like that, just that Taylor wants to play every week and maybe he's not guaranteed that here anymore. It's a shame because Taylor's been a solid servant, always gave everything and was key in some big moments over the past few seasons. But football moves on. The plan might be to go with Kieran Tierney and potentially Schlupp on that side next. Season? Still expect Taylor to get a proper send-off. He'll probably feature in one of the remaining matches, maybe even on Trophy Day. Fans will want to show their appreciation, and rightly so. Now about the goalkeeper situation. Schmeichel had a scan today, and early signs suggest he won't need surgery. It's more about how long it takes to heal naturally. So while we may wait on it, it's a chance for Sinsalo to step up. And truth be told, there's not much worry there. He wasn't tested much on Saturday, but he looked assured. It's not like the team's going to collapse without Schmeichel. That's the beauty of where Celtic are at right now. Everything seems stable. Sure, the Derby defeat still stings, and yeah, this team hasn't hit top gear in terms of attacking flair lately. But the fundamentals are strong. The defense is holding, the midfield has balance, and the attack, especially with that front three, is firing. And with 3 more wins, the title is ours. Rangers might drop points along the way, but it's in our hands. Match day 34. After the split could be the clincher, or it could even come before that if results go our way. Either way, the focus is clear finish. Strong lift the trophy and get ready for a proper push in the Scottish Cup. Right now, everything just feels aligned. No major injuries, no drama players coming back into form and confidence building again. It's not flashy, but it's efficient. And if this is the level we're playing at coming out of an international break, imagine what's coming once we build. Up more rhythm in the next few games. The momentum is swinging and it's all green and white. I'll stop here for now. Still more to get into from Brendan's post-match chat and a couple of transfer hints, but we'll come to that in a bit. So picking up where we left off, we got to get into more of what Brendan Rodgers had to say after the final whistle, because there were a few wee gems tucked into his post-match comments that hint not only at the current mindset inside the club, but also where things might be heading in the summer. Let's start with the striker situation, since it's been the hot topic amongst supporters lately. When Brendan was asked directly about Daizen Maeda, whether he sees him now as an out-and-out striker or still as a winger, he gave an answer that didn't scream certainty, but it definitely leaned in a clear direction. He said, "I think he can be," when referring to Maeda as a striker, then went on to explain that replacing a winger is generally easier than finding a top-level center forward. That's telling. When your manager openly says that moving Maeda wide again might be tougher to justify because of how effective he's been through the middle, it speaks volumes. And honestly, if you've watched Celtic over the last couple of months, you've probably come to that conclusion yourself. Maeda is not just scoring goals, he's scoring big goals. He's making intelligent runs, dragging defenders out of position and finishing with the kind of composure that makes it feel like he's been leading the line for years. He's also linking up well with those around him, especially Kuhn and Jota. And when you see the chemistry between those three, it becomes hard to imagine breaking that up. It's not flashy all the time, but it's deadly effective. And with his work rate on top of it all, it's a nightmare for any backline. But that brings us to a wider point about the summer window. If Maeda is going to be viewed as a central striker going forward, that completely shifts the recruitment plan. Rather than looking for a big money number 9 to lead the line, maybe it makes more sense to spend that money on a creative winger who can stretch defenses and provide another threat from out wide. And if Kyogo stays, which let's be honest, we all hope he does, then you've got a brilliant option to rotate or change games from the bench or even to start certain matches when needed. Suddenly the depth up top looks a lot stronger. Now Rodgers also touched on something that might have gone under the radar, but is actually quite important, the timing of contract talks with players like Jeff Schlupp. He mentioned that locking things in too early can sometimes cause a player to lose that edge, that hunger. Makes sense, doesn't it? Schlupp's been playing with a point to prove, and you can see it in his performances. Solid, focused, determined, exactly what you need in a title running. If keeping him uncertain for a bit longer keeps him in that mindset, then fair enough. Come end of the season, if he's delivered consistently, then you offer him the deal. Simple as that. But that naturally ties into the news about Greg Taylor. Brendan pretty much confirmed it. Taylor is likely to move on in the summer, and that one stings a bit. He's been a loyal servant, a reliable presence on the left flank, and someone who's quietly done his job season after season. But with Kieran Tierney returning and potentially Schlupp sticking around, Taylor's minutes could dwindle. And fair play to him for wanting to play every week. You can't fault the lad for that. He's not leaving because of money or ego. He just wants to play. And that deserves respect. Expect to see him get his moment before the season's done. Hopefully on Trophy Day, a packed Celtic Park giving him the ovation he's earned. Now let's talk about the keeper situation, because there's been some anxiety about Kasper Schmeichel's injury. Brendan gave a bit of an update saying he was going for a scan and that they don't believe surgery will be necessary. More a case of rest and recovery. That's good news, all things considered. But here's the thing, even if Kasper's out for another few weeks, there's a sense of calm about it. No panic. Sinsalo stepped in at the weekend, and while he didn't have much to do, he handled it, all without fuss. Distribution could still improve, sure, but he didn't look out of his depth. And if he's needed for another few games, no one's hitting the alarm bells. It's that sense of security, that stability across the pitch that stands out right now. Even when the performance is in 5-star, the team knows how to get the job done. And that's exactly what you need in these final weeks. 3 more league wins, the title is wrapped up. And yes, Rangers might still be hanging around in the rearview mirror, but there's a feeling that they're running out of road. They scraped past Dundee on the weekend, and you just sense that a stumble is coming. If Celtic keep winning, it won't matter what they do. The pressure is on them, not us. Brendan knows it too. That's why his focus post-match wasn't on celebrating too early or getting ahead of ourselves. It was on continuing the momentum. He praised the balance in the midfield, the return of key players like Hatate and Bernardo, and the improving chemistry in the front line. He even mentioned that the way the team beat Hearts' press, especially for the first and third goals, showed that lessons have been learned since the derby, and that's key. It's not just about bouncing back with a result. It's about showing that the issues that cost us before are being addressed. That's exactly what we saw on Saturday. Celtic are never going to be perfect every match. That's just football. But the signs of improvement are there, and the timing couldn't be better. The players look hungry again, the manager sounds sharper. The fans are starting to believe not just in the title, but in a team that's growing stronger as we approach the finish line. And make no mistake, if this team hits form across these final games, we could be lifting more than one piece of silverware come May. Because yes, the Scottish Cup is still in the mix. And with the league almost in the bag, that becomes the next big focus. St. Johnstone in the quarterfinal is up next, and you'd expect Celtic to come through that one if they play to even 70% of their capability. Then it's either Aberdeen or Hearts, most likely in the semi. And if we get to the final, well, anything can happen in 90 minutes. But based on current form and squad strength, you'd back Celtic to go all the way. That's why these next few weeks are crucial. Keep players fit, keep the momentum going, rotate smartly, and most of all, keep that belief flowing through the team. We've seen what happens when Celtic hit their stride late in the season. The rest of the league can't live with us. And if guys like Maeda, Kuhn, Hatate, and McGregor are all firing, then there's nobody in Scotland that's stopping this team. Nobody. So yeah, it might not be all fireworks and drama right now, but there's something even better brewing. A sense of control, of maturity, of a team that knows what's needed and knows how to get it done. And that for me is what makes this Celtic side so exciting heading into the final stretch. The flair will come, the goals will come, but right now it's about ticking off each win, handling each challenge, and putting ourselves in the best possible place for the silverware push. And the best part, we're not even at full throttle yet. You get the sense that this squad's got another level to go. Brendan's got a few more tricks up his sleeve. Players are still building sharpness after the break. So if this is us cruising, imagine what happens when we shift into gear. Anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Still loads to talk about over the next few days. Team selection for St. Johnstone, updates on Kasper, maybe even a hint of early transfer business. But for now, just enjoy it. Celtic are flying and there's more to come. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. In an unexpected turn of events, Celtic's Daizen Maeda has allegedly made a shocking declaration. He refuses to play alongside club captain Callum McGregor anymore. This bold statement comes after rumors of a heated disagreement between the two teammates that have been circulating through the Scottish football scene. A video, now widely shared on social media, seemingly shows the two exchanging tense words during a recent training session. Fans are left to speculate. What exactly happened to spark such a drastic decision? Sources close to the club have been tight-lipped, but whispers suggest that tensions have been simmering for some time between the two players. The disagreement reportedly stems from a clash of personalities and playing styles. Maeda, whose recent form has impressed many, is believed to have felt sidelined by McGregor's leadership and decision-making on the pitch, particularly during crucial moments. For a player of Maeda's caliber, frustration is starting to boil over, as the team's internal dynamics appear to be unraveling. As Celtic gears up for another season in both domestic and European competitions, the question on everyone's mind is, can Maeda and McGregor reconcile? Or will this rift ultimately cause further division within the squad? Celtic's managerial staff has remained silent on the issue, but this could be a turning point for the club's internal cohesion. While McGregor's captaincy has long been a pillar for the team, Maeda's rapid rise and assertive attitude could challenge that status quo. The fallout from this rumored dispute has already captured the attention of both the media and fans. With Celtic's title aspirations and Champions League hopes hanging in the balance, the pressure is mounting for both players to resolve their differences. Yet, the broader question remains, how will this impact the team's on-field performance if the tension continues to grow? Only time will tell if this public rift will have lasting consequences, or if Celtic stars can put aside their differences for the good of the team. As the situation develops, one thing is certain. The spotlight on Celtic has never been brighter, and every move from Maeda and McGregor will be under intense scrutiny. Will they manage to patch things up, or is this the beginning of the end for one of Scottish football's most formidable partnerships? Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.